Released in 1989, Volfied is the successor to Quix. This all-new game features a futuristic science fiction aesthetic rather than Quix's abstract geometry style. The overall gameplay is identical to that of Quix. However, the main enemy is no longer a collection of lines. Instead, it varies between levels, and it's always accompanied by smaller enemies. When the player's spaceship succeeds in claiming a section of the level, the side where the main enemy is taken as the outside. Any smaller enemies ending up on the inside are killed, resulting in bonus points. In order to complete a level, the player must claim at least 80% of the level's area. Each level on Volfied has a unique background and enemies. As a player claims areas of the level, the cleared areas graphic is replaced with the graphic of the next level. Grey boxes also appear on the field. These give the player a random power-up when collected. Power-ups can grant the player speed or even weapons. There's a special completion bonus on certain levels, often contained by shooting the main enemy. The first port we're going to be taking a look at is for the PC Engine. Developed by ITL, this port doesn't follow the arcade stage layout at all. It also plays differently, in that when an enemy hits your line in the arcade version, you may still make it to your destination as explosions chase you up the line. In this PC Engine port, you instantly die no matter where on the line an enemy touches. This makes the game rather difficult and, to be honest, a little unfair. ITL was also behind this Mega Drive port, which was released 2 years after the PC Engine game. Mega Drive fans are lucky, as their port plays much more like the arcade. In fact, it has 3 modes of play. Mode A, which is the same as the arcade. Mode P, which is like the PC Engine version. And Mode Q, which removes all the power-ups and smaller enemies. Basically, it's like a boss rush mode. These 3 game modes really add a lot to the gameplay, although Mode P is pretty awful. I also like how in this port, ITL have gone to the trouble to resize sprites as the areas become more confined, just like the arcade game. As we've come to expect from Japanese home computers, the FM Towns port is very close to the arcade machine. Not only that, but it also gives you a choice of different resolutions to run the game in. You're now looking at the high resolution mode. And as we've come to expect from Western home computers, the Amiga port isn't crap. Yes, that's right, Empire Interactive has done a fantastic job at bringing the arcade feel and look to the Amiga. Yeah, I know, it looks a bit chunkier and the animation isn't that smooth, but it's a hell of a lot better than what we'd expect. Overall, this is a great port of Volfied to the Amiga. Also by Empire Interactive, this Atari ST port is very similar to the Amiga, but not quite as good. The graphics are a little rougher and the audio is muffled, but the biggest difference is the speed at which the game runs. It can be a little too slow at times, especially when there's a lot going on. And the good ports just keep on coming with this Commodore 64 version. I have to admit that I'm surprised at how well this has turned out, considering the low resolution in which the game plays. I can't really fault the controls or the gameplay at all. Another great port. Volfied even made its way onto the old Java-based mobile phones, and it did rather well. It may have less enemies on screen, and it may be rather difficult to see your craft, depending on the phone's screen, but overall, this is a competent port that I was rather enjoying until I hit a bug that sent my ship into the top left hand corner, rendering it useless. Also developed by Empire Software, this MS-DOS port sits in between the Amiga and the Atari ST. It plays smoothly, but looks weak due to the smaller sprites. Still, that Sound Blaster audio does come close to sounding like the arcade machine thanks to its FM synth. Known as Qix Neo in the US, this PlayStation port was released in Japan as part of the Simple 1200 series of games. Two versions of Volfied are available on the disc. We have the original mode, which is very much like the arcade game, but with an aspect ratio that's completely wrong. Why on earth didn't they follow the arcade's vertical style? And then we have an original mode, which is basically the same game, but with uglier graphics, in my opinion, and arranged music. And let's take a look at all those versions of Volfied running side by side.
What would you little maniacs like to do first? What would you little